Imagine it's 8 a.m., emails are flooding in, WhatsApp notifications, and Zoom pings won't stop. People are already waiting on you for answers. You have a big board meeting at 9 a.m., and you haven't even had your coffee yet. Your day has been hijacked even before it started. Now breathe. What if I told you there are 3 powerful shifts that could help you speak with clarity, lead with control, and make decisions under pressure without adding a single minute to your day and without setting off the people around you? Stick around, because this isn't just another productivity or how to be a leader or how to communicate video. This is a practical masterclass based on real strategies built from decades of experience, research, and high-pressure leadership environments. You'll leave with 3 clear, actionable moves to lead, decide, and operate with more calm power and clarity, especially when you're thrown under the bus. I'm Amin, founder of Amintalks and Decarbion. For 25 years, I've been brought into chaotic teams, fast-scaling companies, and burned-out leadership setups. Not to add more complexity, but to figure out what's slowing them down and how to clear it. Now, when people think of successful leaders, they usually imagine someone loud, commanding, someone who constantly speaks up. And don't get me wrong, that works for some. But for many of us, it doesn't feel natural. It feels like acting. Let's face it, even though you do it once, it doesn't last forever. And worst of all, it's exhausting. And I know, because I tried to be that leader. People often label me as an introvert. I don't see that as a good or a bad thing. It's just their opinion. But for years, I've watched people brush me off, overlook my input, underestimate what I brought to the table, just because I didn't have the right presence and the right mindset. And what's worse, I was told I wasn't loud enough. So I got curious. I started observing, not just what people said in meetings, but how they said it. I studied leaders under pressure, in boardrooms, on stages, in crisis. I watched for what actually moved people beyond volume. What I found was a pattern, a different kind of power, quiet power. And over time, I built my own framework to lead with clarity, calm authority, and control, without being someone I'm not. So if you're an introvert, a mid-career professional trying to rise, an entrepreneur who's navigating messy growth, or someone who's tired of burnout, but not ready to settle, this masterclass is for you. I'm going to walk you through 3 leadership hacks that has helped me and many others. No fluff, no hype. Let's dive in. So a few years ago, I was presenting to a senior leadership, a room full of decision makers who barely knew me. I had my slides ready, my data was solid, and I'd rehearsed every single point. But 5 minutes in, something felt off. The more I spoke, the less they engaged. No nods, no questions, just glazed eyes. I was under a lot of pressure to deliver. So what did I do? I talked faster, filled every gap with more data, more words, hoping I'd finally convince them. I was trying to prove I belonged in the room. But in doing that, I did just the opposite. I didn't realize it at that time. But I was rushing, not because I was confident, but because I was uncomfortable with silence. That moment changed everything. I went back and studied hours and hours of leadership speeches. I wanted to really understand what makes a leader sound powerful. And that's when I noticed something.
This is your victory. Now, I know you didn't do this just to win an election.
See that? That 3-second pause, right before and after the key point, that's leadership. I call it the Obama pause. It's the art of using silence deliberately to project clarity, confidence, and calm control. This isn't a gimmick. It's one of the most learnable leadership hacks I've seen across industries. According to Harvard research, speakers who use well-timed pauses are perceived as more credible, more emotionally intelligent, and more authoritative. On the other hand, fast talkers, even when they are smart, often sound nervous, insecure, or even rushed. I used to be in this category. Back in that boardroom, their silence made me spiral. But what if I flipped the script? What if I gave them silence in the middle of my presentation, paused, smiled, just for those 3 seconds? I can guarantee you that their attention would shift immediately. That silence would signal what I'm about to say matters, all without saying a single word. Here's the truth. Many professionals think presence is all about saying more, sounding smarter, being louder. But real presence, it's quite the opposite. Great leaders slow things down. They use space, silence, stillness. Since then, every speech or every session I've delivered includes this pause, and it makes a huge difference. So the next time you're asked a tough question or presenting something really important, try this. Pause for 3 seconds before you give the input. Smile, make eye contact, breathe in, then deliver your message. Let your words land. Don't rush. For example, if you're in a meeting and feels like the room's energy is about to drop, pause mid-sentence. Let the silence hang. Then continue. That pause resets the entire room. It creates suspense. It brings people back to you. Let me explain the psychology behind the 3-second Obama pause and why it really works. There are 2 science-backed reasons. 1. Cognitive contrast. As humans, sometimes we're used to noise. So when you drop silence, the brain pays attention. It's unexpected, uncomfortable. It pulls people out of autopilot. Number 2, mirror neurons. When you're calm and still, the people around you start mirroring that state. Instead of reacting, they're now absorbing. You're not chasing attention, you're shaping the entire room. People that are powerful don't rush. They own the room, they own the clock. Common mistakes. Don't pause too long or too often. You might be seeming unsure. Don't fill the silence with uhs or likes or ums. Don't use the pause to judge yourself. Use it to center yourself. Remember, this requires practice. And like all great leadership habits, it gets easier every single time you use it. So now you know how to control a room without raising your voice. But what happens when individuals start throwing things at you? When expectations shift, or pressure rises, or you're suddenly put on the spot? In this hack, I'll show you how to respond with calm control, even when things get messy. So yes, silence can lead and reset a room. But what about moments when you don't even get the luxury of silence? The moments when someone corners you mid-hallway or meeting and drops the task in your lap. That's where this powerful hack comes in. I call it the calm technique. In other words, a way to say, not now, without really sounding defensive, rude, or weak. Here's a true story. A few years ago, I was knee-deep in a critical project. Tight deadlines, tight team, no breathing room. And then it happened. A colleague from another department, smiling, casual, walks up and tells me, "Hey, I won't keep you. Just a quick thing. I've got a doctor's appointment tomorrow morning. Could you take the meeting for me? You already know everything anyway. You're really smart," and walks away. And there it was. That split-second trap we all fall into. I said yes. Not because I had the time, not because it was my job, but because I felt trapped in that moment. Saying no would make me look difficult or unhelpful. And what happened? Regret, resentment. and a distraction that pulled me off my main priorities. That was the leadership moment for me, and I blew it. Not because I didn't have the right answer, but because I didn't have the right mindset and response system. What I learned, strong leaders aren't the ones who say yes to everything fast. They're the ones who can say, not right now sometimes, and still sound professional, collaborative, and calm. That's why I created this technique, the CALM technique. So when someone tries to dump a task on you and you feel cornered, use this. C for context. Begin setting the context, the big picture. Acknowledge the request. Respectfully, mention that your plate is full. For example, say something like, I can see this matters, but I'm working on an energy project that needs to be finished by tonight. Why this thing works? Because you're not brushing them off. You're showing EQ and maturity. A, align with them and set expectations. Once you have listed, now name what's already on your plate. Make your priorities visible and give them out an option without saying a yes or no. For example, say something like, right now I'm focused on project X, and that's at a point where it needs full attention. The management wants me to pay undivided attention. Would you like me to pause this project? By saying this, you're asking if you should stop what you're working on, and you're putting the decision on their plate. Trust me, nobody wants to make that call for you. But don't stop here. The next two steps are equally important. L, limit the yes. This is where you still don't say yes, but you are deferring the yes. Say something like, I'm happy to help in a few days or a few weeks, but I can't take full ownership right now. Would that be all right? What you've done here is that you're not saying no, but you've set clear boundaries for yourself, and you're showing that you are still helpful. M, move the expectation. If they insist, push the conversation and decision to a later time where you are in control. Say something like, let's meet tomorrow at 3 p.m. and go over this. Now you have full control over the conversation, the time, and gives you more time to prepare. So why does this work? It breaks the trap of on-the-spot decisions. It helps you set clear boundaries for yourself. It lets you lead with clarity even under pressure. It builds a culture where your yes actually means something. Here's the truth. Every time you say yes without thinking, you're saying no to something that really matters more. Think about it. But when you stay calm and use this calm technique, you buy yourself space. You protect your time. You lead without ego. You shift from people-pleasing to decision-making. Now, think bigger. This technique doesn't just work with one-on-one conversations. It works in boardrooms, in cross-functional meetings, especially when someone tries to throw you under the bus or make their problem your problem. Let's move on to the next hack, where I'll show you how to make smarter, faster decisions using something that I call the decision buckets. Let's go. Now you know how to say not now without the guilt. You've learned how to slow down a moment, protect your time, and lead with calm under pressure. But here's the twist. Sometimes the pressure doesn't come from other people. It comes from within you. Because even when no one is pushing, you're still making thousands of choices every minute, every hour, just trying to stay on top, be heard, stay successful. And that is what I call silent pressure. It's what wears leaders down from the inside. That's where this hack comes in handy. The decision buckets. It's basically a mental model to stop decisions fatigue from hijacking your leadership. Let me hit you with a wild stat. A Cornell University study found that the average adult makes 35,000 decisions a day. It's not a typo. 35,000, it's a fact. Now, most are tiny. Should I check that email? Should I reply now? Should I reply later? Should I reschedule this meeting? Should I say yes? Should I wait? Although they might seem harmless, they quickly erode your energy, your clarity, and your confidence. That creeping exhaustion, it's called decision fatigue. And it's why even top performers feel drained and reactive by 2 or 3 p.m. I used to think I had a time management problem, but what I really had was a decision management problem. Because here's the truth, every decision costs energy, and not every decision deserves it. So I started using this model, and the moment I did, everything changed. My days felt lighter, my focus was sharper, and I stopped reacting, and I started leading. Here's how this works. Every single task, every message, every meeting invite, every idea, it belongs to one of these 3 buckets. Once you start using this model, you'll stop spinning. No more second guessing, no more decision loops, just clarity in motion. Number 1, the fast bucket. If it takes less than 60 seconds and carries low risk, decide now. For example, go ahead, book that room. No, we don't need this now. I approve, let's move on. The reason why this works, because it avoids overthinking tiny tasks. It keeps you in flow. It saves the brain power for the bigger stuff. Remember, small decisions, low stakes, just do it. Number 2, the slow bucket. If the decision is high impact, unclear, or emotionally charged, pause it. For example, say, let me get back to you after I've reviewed this. Or let's align this with our goals before we decide. Or this deserves more attention. Let's think this through. The reason why this works is because it buys you more time strategically, avoids knee-jerk reactions, it signals calm control under pressure, and great leaders don't always decide fast. They decide well. Number 3, the don't decide bucket. If the input isn't worth your time, delete, delegate, or just drop it. For example, I'm removing this from my list. It's not a priority. Or can Bob take this instead? Let's drop this for now and revisit only if needed. Just think about it. It shields your focus from low value noise. It builds a team around you that respects your priorities. And more importantly, it reinforces that not everything is urgent or important. Remember, not everything needs your attention. Some things don't deserve a decision at all. The reason why this works so beautifully is because it reduces decision fatigue. You stop wasting energy on micro decisions. You conserve mental fuel for what really matters. It builds mental clarity. You stop treating everything like an emergency, and others will follow your lead. And lastly, it boosts leadership presence. People notice that you're thoughtful, not reactive. You're calm, you're not chaotic, and that's leadership. But it also helps you protect your priorities. You spend less time firefighting and more time moving the needle in the right direction. It strengthens your boundaries. You train others to respect your focus and your role as a decision maker and not a decision sponge. Let's face it, one of the reasons that you're always under pressure is that you feel the need to decide all the time. You don't need to make every single decision now or fast. You need to make fewer decisions but with more clarity. Use the decision buckets. Fast, slow, don't decide. That's how you shift from a reactive worker to a respected leader without burning out. So what did we just do here? You didn't just learn productivity tips, you learned mindset tools to speak and lead better when the pressure is on. Let's quickly recap. Hack 1, the 3-second Obama pause. Silence isn't weakness, it's control. Use it to reset the room and reclaim your power. Hack 2, the calm technique. When someone dumps a task on you, stay calm, not cornered. Say not now without losing respect. Hack 3, the decision buckets. You don't need to decide everything right now or fast. Use the fast, slow, or don't decide buckets and protect your mental energy like a pro. If this helped you even a little, do the quiet power move. Like the video, comment with your favorite hack, share this with one friend, and subscribe. And hey, the real power isn't loud. It's clear, calm, consistent. Let's build that kind of leadership together. I'm Amin, and I'll see you in the next one.